January can be a trying month for many when we are beset by cold weather, post-Christmas fatigue and financial concerns. However, the news on so-called Blue Monday that the Prime Minister plans to visit Scotland more often in the months ahead, PM seeks to strengthen union with more visits to Scotland, the Herald, January 20th, will have acted as a ready antidote to our midwinter gloom for our First Minister and the Scottish Government. During the recent general election, the Scottish Conservatives were very careful to adopt a low-key approach to mentioning the leadership of Mr Johnson, preferring instead to studiously omit any reference to him in their election leaflets and on the doorsteps. There is, not surprisingly, a good reason for this. Much has been made of his populist brand of conservatism appearing to be unpalatable to most Scots, including those of his own party such as Ruth Davidson, who espouse a more centrist approach to our political scene. Mr Johnson's upper-class-twit style of buffoonery seems to appeal to many English voters but is viewed with scorn and disdain by many Scots who perceive his right-wing opinions as anathema to them. The Prime Minister's casual racism and sexism, in addition to his well-known serial fibbing, do not make him a figure of endearment north of the border. Lest we forget his stereotypical, patronising view of Scottish people in general, we would do well to recall his role as editor of The Spectator magazine. He made frequent references to Scottish MPs being politically disabled due to their race and authorised a poem describing the Scottish people as vermin who should face extermination as they pollute the British stock. The poem also suggested that Scotland be abandoned as a ghetto and is offensive and inflammatory in tone and in sentiment. The Prime Minister dismissed criticism of his decision to publish the poem and advised that it was jocular, and a bit of fun. Any historian of the overtly stereotypical racism practiced by Punch magazine on the 19th century Irish and Scottish nations would recognise the smirking condescension and superiority complex of Mr Johnson's flippant denial of xenophobic intolerance. The Prime Minister is most welcome to visit Scotland as frequently as he can in the months and years ahead. His arrogant tactlessness and shallow understanding of this country's political climate can only hasten the road to independence. Will Alistair Jack or Jackson Carlord dare to tell him? Owen Kelly, Stirling. The news that the Prime Minister of the UK will be in Scotland more frequently has already been met with predictable derision by the SNP. Their Scotland is part of England's inner empire. It helps to stoke up difference, and build the imagined community that they so desperately require, even though for large parts of Scotland's existence, loyal. For more on this story, visit the news article link.